We're going to get going. We're going to continue right now with what we want to put together as a leadership panel, and that will close out our morning segments, right? So I'd like to invite a few people on the stage. Mike Bernier, where you at, sir? Mike Bernier, please make your way to the stage. Stanley Rosen, Veronica Figueroa, Alex Vidal, and Lori Reeder. Give these guys a round of applause. Sweet deal. So let me lay out the format for you guys. What's up, sir?
Hi. They told me
Good,
to sit
man.
here. Yeah.
Let me lay out the format for you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little panel up here, and we're going to discuss some major topics that I consider for leadership team. If you look at the 5 people sitting up here, these are exemplary leaders in their industry. And so what I want to make sure that we do is bring you solid value, okay? So what's going to happen is I have like 10 questions I'm going to ask them, but the truth is, and they don't know this because they've been studying those 10 questions for the last week, is that I'm only going to ask like 2 of those questions and then we're going to free form. And what I'd like to do is really dig into who they are and how they're doing the business. So I'm very, very, very happy to give these guys a round of applause for participating. Thank you. What's up, guys?
Hi.
All right, so you guys have 2 mics. Pass them around. I appreciate it. You're still mic'd up, right?
I'm still mic'd up.
Awesome. So that's awesome. All right, so we're going to get right into this. This is basic conversation. I just want you guys to feel ultra comfortable. I know you guys all done this 100 times, but I want this to be a lot more comfortable than you've probably done in the past. And so the first question that I want to ask you guys is, how do you feel the real estate industry can be advanced moving forward in the next 5 years? I started strong, huh? Go, Alex, go. I know you've got some ideas.
Well, my ideas are kind of different than probably what everybody else is up here. Everybody's scared of technology and all. I could care less about technology in the sense of being scared of it. But I think that everybody's emphasis right now is so much on technology and how do we advance technology, blah, 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 that they're forgetting the core value of our business, which is face-to-face, belly-to-belly, palm-to-palm. That never will change. It doesn't matter what comes in technology. People want to be spoken to. They want to be heard. More importantly, they want to be understood. So I think from a brokerage perspective or as a leadership perspective, it's great to incorporate technology in what we're doing, but we need to put a greater emphasis on how to create relationships with either, in my case, my agents and our agents with their clients.
Awesome, great answer. And so this is where we're going to freeform a little bit, and we'll get somebody else to talk about this. But I've seen leaders in our industry get on stage and put the fear into people's hearts with technology. I've seen leaders in our industry talk about how technology will take over real estate at some point or another. People are afraid of companies like Zillow, Redfin, Amazon now, all these other companies coming into the real estate industry. How do you feel that truly affects our industry? Yeah, you can go, Mike.
So I agree. I think it's never been more important that we really have to focus on our relationships, because what's happening now, long before our pipeline is even telling their spouse that they're looking to maybe move, they're clicking on things online, they're engaging with other agents. There's so much money and so much effort being put into taking our pipeline in our sphere, and there's great success. In the last 5 years alone, referral business is down like 15%. That's the trend right now. So I think it's going to be more important as we move forward to, A, not be afraid of lead generation in technology platforms. I'd say embrace them. Look at Blockbuster. Look at Toys R Us. These are companies that did not really evolve with change. People still buy toys. People still buy movies. Netflix came along, right?
Right.
So I think the way that we actually are going to be attracting business, with our own personal brands is going to be super huge right now and moving forward.
Awesome. Laura, you had something?
So we've chosen to fully embrace technology, and it's all about your database. It's all about building that database and how we're going to communicate with the database. It's about breaking bread with we call it our top 5 people that are our PR people that are going to send us a certain amount of transactions per year. I think people are a little bit afraid of technology, and I say, like what Veronica was saying, we either can get on the train and ride it or get off. We're
Right.
on it and we're going to blast off on it.
Right.
So that database is critical. Have a plan, have a model, have a system, and decide how many people you're going to be communicating with. How are you going to communicate with them? Huge for us, David, where we've changed is meeting the consumer where they want to be met. Communicate to them how they want to be communicated with. That's really big. If you're speaking with someone who's 75, you probably are not going to be text messaging them. You may need to go to their home, sit down with them, and help them. So meet the consumer where they are, collect your data, communicate with your database consistently.
Right. So I'm about to create a debate. Stan, how do you feel companies like Zillow are changing our industry?
I'm going to tell it how it is, straight up.
Take the mic.
I don't
Straight
know.
up, straight up.
I don't know that we would expect any
You know,
less.
I'm about to do the kiki coming right down that catwalk. But anyways, let me just tell you how it works about this little Zillow thing. That we're making them nice and fat every time we get a listing. So let me get it clear what I think should happen. Broker owners, all brokers, should make their own MLS. We should all unite and make our own MLS so that the people that work very hard to get the business are the ones to deserve the people that are buying the properties. That's number one. That's number one. Now, people spend $25,000, $30,000, $35,000
About to stand up.
a month. Lori, let me talk.
He's about to stand up.
I want you to know that thanks to Lori, I have benches in Plantation to write my contracts. But anyways, okay, so anyways, I just want you to know that it is true fact. I know Veronica, she's talking about the queen, all the great comments and stuff like that, and I get it, I'm not bad-mouthing Zillow. I just think it's misleading.
I have something to say.
Yes.
Get 'em.
I respect him, and I'm not on Zillow's
Stanley, don't
payroll.
sit too far back.
Here's the thing. The reason they exist, it's not because of you guys. It's because the shitty agents before us, who were the listing agents who never answered their phone, who gave us all a bad rap, companies like that came into play.
Right.
So now that we answer the phone, people want to take their business back. Because Lori and I guarantee you, we don't drop a call. Every time someone calls our number, we're going to answer. Whether we're at the beach, on vacation, we always have a system in place to answer. This is about adapting. And it's not, listen, I'm all for us having an MLS. I'm okay with that. But I can't retract what already happened
And
for many
look,
years.
I'm going to tell
Let's talk about the 5% success, right? I believe I'm successful, my group is successful because everybody here has helped me sell my homes. Let's be straight. You guys are just as important as us. We're nobody special. If it wasn't for you guys selling our properties, I get it. But there's a way that when you contact and the agents are contacted, I lose reputation if that person that's paying doesn't pick up the phone, because my face is on every listing. Now, I slowed down on this because I'm not going to fight it. It's not worth it. I'm just going to keep kicking ass like I do. And the only thing I can tell you is, and people ask me this, Stan, what runs your business? How do you do your business? Well, it's very simple. Started 19 years ago with the Kais Company. 58 locations. They helped me brand me. That's how I did it. I put my name within their company. Number one in South Florida for 30,000 units. I get it. We do 300. You do 750, 1,000. I get it. It's incredible. But at the end of the day, we have to nurture ourselves to be responsible, to pick up the phone, give us a service, and be nice to one another. Nobody is really better than anybody in this industry. Nobody. We are one. We are professional real estate agents.
Good job, man. Thank
Go
you.
Stan.
So, Mike, tell everybody where you're from.
Okay, so I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. He flew all the way to Miami to share with you guys. And so,
Did you have to pay him for that? I'm sure Miami, Minneapolis.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
You couldn't wait till
Anyone
till the panel was over, right? I do want to speak to you, and Alex, if I could direct you two on this. You know, the changes that are coming in the industry with other brokerages that are leaning towards technology, that are pushing more technology and zero brick and mortar. Where do you think, and they're growing at massive rates, where do you think that ends up in 5 years?
So it's a good question. Now, when you're talking about technology, we're talking a lot about technology, and we just talked about it in the lead gen space a second ago. You know, as far as, and just I wanted to make one comment on that too. So there is so much money being spent on Zillow and Realtor.com right now, and nobody's going to spend, as you said, $20,000, $30,000 a month unless they're making 3 to 4 times that. So my advice to everybody is don't fight it, ride the wave. Now moving on, so as far as the brick and mortar brokerages, I own a brick and mortar brokerage. I've got 17,000 square feet with 3 locations and 350 agents. So I'm asked all the time, how do you compete with, you know, virtual models? It all comes down to culture, in my opinion. It comes down to having people want to come in the office. It comes down to people's experience. And if you have a sense of community, we're recruiting agents left and right because of that culture and that community. So I think the answer to that model, if you have a brick and mortar model, is make sure that people really want to be there.
And Alex, you're running a pretty large brokerage yourself. And is anyone here from Related ISG? So I'm a little disappointed because you guys have how many agents?
We have about 50.
Huh? How many agents do you have?
540.
504, and they got one table of 8 over there. I just want to show you guys that. Gotcha. Sorry, bro, I had to beg you. All right, so 500 plus agents. How many offices do you guys have?
We have 6 actual physical locations plus a kiosk in Aventura Mall.
Okay, so how important is brick and mortar to your model?
Well, for us, it's critical, right? And for some companies, it's not. Ultimately, you kind of touched upon it. You know, real estate agents join brokerages for one of 2 reasons. Either there's a certain way in which they do their business, and they're going to join a company which does it in that way, and it's going to help them do more of it, at least for the experienced agent, right? Or there's a certain way in which they want to do business, and they're going to join a company that does it in that way. So because they're going to be around it, that company's going to teach them. Being around it by osmosis, they're going to learn how to do it, right? So for us, ours is relationships, heavy intensity with our agents, coaching them, training them, et cetera. And that's our brokerage. And you know, the beauty of it is in Dade and Broward County alone, there's 65,000 realtors. Not all 65,000 realtors are going to want my experience.
Right.
Of not intense brokerage, but a brokerage that really cares about its agents. Then there are brokerages that you can park your license at, like a virtual brokerage, which I personally love because their retention rate sucks. And the retention rate sucks because they do not have a relationship with their agent.
Right, so I can touch on a few of you with this. How is it, your brick and mortar, like I feel like my brick and mortar office is important to me to be able to provide the leadership and the coaching and the training that we provide. Same for you. I've watched your training sessions and so forth and so on. And so how do you feel that leadership is being provided on a virtual space?
I can't speak for them, but it's not being provided at any level that anybody up here would be able to provide to their agents like we do.
I mean, we are also brick and mortar, so we're an independent brokerage, and we are one team within the brokerage. So if you're part of our organization, you are on the team. Of course, I also believe the same way we have to meet the consumer where they are, we also have to meet the agent, which are our clients, where they are. So how we feel is that we're building an environment of community, of leadership, coaching, training, and if there are agents, once they feel a part of that cement, we're okay if they want to, quote, zoom in, come in on the Google Hangout. Remember, we meet every day at 8:30, which is really weird to most people. So I believe we have to evolve. Where I was as a team 24 months ago is completely different. If we've got great people that want to be part of our world, but they live 45 minutes away, and they've got the culture down pat, they're doing great, I'm okay with them being virtual. Otherwise, if we do not evolve, we're going to lose great people.
Right.
And I'll say, too, that one of the biggest objections I get while recruiting a new agent is I don't have an office location close to where they want to be.
Right.
So they associate that brick and mortar like that's where they want to be. And even if they don't really go there more than just maybe to pick a check up, they want to know it's there.
They want to know it's there, right? Which is why companies would open multiple locations in this case, right? Because they want to make sure that they're catering to the agent and being close to them and being in their area and providing what we believe to be strong, positive leadership and coaching.
Absolutely.
David, I believe that a lot of reasons people are joining, let's just call it what it is, EXP, right? They're really growing fast. So they're not looking for, I don't believe they're looking for leadership culture. They're looking for that other aspect where they want to become recruiters. And that's great. That's just another avenue. And they want to build revenue share, right? So they don't, maybe they're not looking for leadership and coaching and training and community. That's why it's just not the same for everybody. You've got to pick
not
your
for
lane.
everyone.
It's different strokes for different folks.
Right. So let me ask you guys something. Are you seeing within your brokerages, and you're in sales, right? Are
Yes.
you non-competing?
Well, I have a team. I'm not in production, but I do have a team in the brokerage.
Okay, so you have a team within your brokerage. You run a team. You have a team within your brokerage. You are not in sales, but you have several teams in your brokerage, and you are a team-style brokerage, right?
Yes.
So
Teamerage.
how do you feel about the expansion of teams now moving forward? Where do you see teams' growth headed to? Now we're starting to see teams expand to other counties, teams expand to other cities, right? We're starting to see that type of growth and development. And how do you feel about that in association to your brokerage?
I'll take this one. I actually love teams.
Yes.
'Cause I think that as a brokerage, as you continue to grow, it's hard to touch everybody. And I think there are some really great agents, even within our own brokerage, that have the potential to be great, but maybe they just need more hand holding. And on a team, they would do much better than they would as an independent agent on us.
Right.
You touched upon expanding the footprint. We actually encourage our teams to try to get essentially sub-teams in each of our locations. So, for example, I'm interviewing and have met with one of the top agents in Parkland. And I met with him right before the Parkland shootings, and I met with him again like a month after, or 2 months after. And I asked him, and he's entirely in Parkland. And I said, what's going on with your business? He's like, it's paralyzed right now. Understandably, nobody was interested in real estate after what happened. And I said to him, see, that's a mistake. You join our company, I'll open Parkland, but then we're going to create a sub-team in Weston, and in Fort Lauderdale, and in Aventura, and in Edgewater, and in Coral Gables, and in Brickell, so that you can get the exposure everywhere, so that if something happens in one particular market, you still continue to do business everywhere else.
Awesome.
I think teams, it's just about scaling. I mean, you look at the likes of Ben Kinney and Five Door and Seth, those who are actually expanding out of states and other regions. It's about scaling their systems, just like any type of organization, and the culture, right? The culture that they've established, the training. I mean, I think even just Seth announced that they have a director of university training. It's all about scaling. This is a business plan that makes sense, and they've figured out how to do so through teams. Not every team is going to be at that level, but it definitely has allowed people to be a part of a world that is structured and can provide some sort of security. Because, I mean, if I go to work for Alex, at least I believe that he's going to provide some sort of security that I'm going to jumpstart my career. And I think that's why teams continue to evolve. Maybe I might not be a part of his world forever, but it's okay, even if you are not. But it'll give me a jumpstart to my career as well. I don't know, and even like what Lori's partner was saying, I mean, like 13 years later, kudos to her. I mean, that's true leadership.
So one thought on that too, because the question really is how are brokerages and teams, how is that relationship? I think a lot of brokers are adverse to teams, and I think that's really going to cost them in the long run. A lot of teams, I'm starting to see like the formation of mega teams, almost like mini brokerages inside of brokerages. It's a great alternative to franchising, to be honest with you. They can
Right.
grow mega teams of 40, 50. We got one in our marketplace that's 90 agents strong. That they're
That's
not
basically an office.
yeah, it is. It's basically a brokerage within a brokerage. Without all the franchise headaches, without the headaches of running the brokerage, they're focused only on production with their team. We're seeing that emerge a lot more. So brokers that are not really team friendly, I think in the next 5 years, they're going to have a problem ahead of them.
Maybe or go ahead, Stan. Sorry, you had something.
No, something something that I loved about when I built a team. I started in 1999, and then in 2001, when I took off, and right out of the gate, I was working day in and day out. What I was noticing that areas were getting stale. Okay, so being a Florida native, I was born in Coconut Grove, and I lived in Kendall, and I lived in Miami Beach, and then I moved to Broward after Hurricane Andrew. I got to know a lot of different areas. So what happened was, and this is something that I advise you, all realtors, to do, and all agents, remove your address from your business card. Okay, because when you put your actual city of your car, you know, where you're at, they only think you specialize in that particular area. So for us, it's a little bit different because our company consists of multiple offices in different cities. So we can always tell the homeowner, and we're privately owned, that our office is right here. Our office is right there. So, you know, it's helped the growth. You know, I have properties from Boca Raton all the way to Homestead due to the fact that I have the facilitation of multiple offices.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, couple last questions because we've hit the 10-minute mark. Alex and Veronica, if you can do this one for me. What do you believe that broker owners need to be doing and how they need to be evolving over the next 18 months?
I think that they just need to realize we're in the human resource business. If you're managing agents, if you're managing a team or leading a team, you're leading people. And this isn't about the transactions anymore. People can go to another company that is going to give them a bigger split, a better split. People don't have to stay with you. They're with you because you are making an impact in their life, or they trust you, or they feel that you're the right mentor for them. You are in the human resource business. We've got to get away from thinking that they are real estate agents with a license and you're going to put them to work. This is beyond the license. This is deeper. This is about the person and about growing someone's career. Other than that, if you're not doing that for them, they'll be temporary.
That was it? That was spot on. All right, so I got one for you. Many agents come to your office, I assume, right? Because they come to mine and they, you know, we talk to them about joining our companies. And one of the first questions that comes out of some of their mouths, not all of them, some of their mouths is, what do you have to offer me as an agent? And as a brokerage, I kind of flip it on them and I go, well, what do you have to offer me? You're here. You're right. So my question to you is, how do you handle that objection? And the reason that I'm asking this is so that everybody in the room can walk away understanding that this is a team venture, not a you for me venture.
Well, so it starts off on the interview itself. It's no different than when you meet with a seller, at least on how we educate our agents, right? When you meet with a seller, before you can talk about everything that you can do to get their home sold, you need to find out what their hot buttons are, right? And when you're interviewing an agent, it's a very similar concept. You sit down with them and they can start off with saying, well, what do you guys do? They're like, it doesn't matter what I do if it doesn't help you do additional business. So
right.
Let's talk about you first. And trust me, agents don't have a problem talking about themselves. And you know, if an interview lasts, let's say, an hour, literally our portion of it is maybe 15, 20 minutes. It's really spending a good chunk of the majority of that time finding out how that agent does business, where do they want their business to go, and then tailoring what it is that we offer as a brokerage based on what their wants and needs are. And if there's a mutual understanding there and a mutual, let's say, vision that we can partner together, then we go from there. You know, it's interesting. We're one of the few, we play in a sandbox with Douglas Elliman, Sotheby's, Fortune, and Savera. Because we're the 5 companies that are not only in general real estate, but we're also in new development. Either we're owned by developers or we do development sales, or in my case, we do both. And we are the only, and I'm not pitching my company in any way, so don't take it like this, but we are the only company that our agents are with us because they want to be, not because they have to be. If they want to leave, they can take their listings with them. If they have a pending deal, we still pay them their full split. Because I'm not worried about my agents leaving me. I'm worried about making them my raving fan. Making them your raving fan, and you have the kind of growth that we've had from 45 agents 4 years ago to 540
right.
without acquisitions.
Right.
And that's by and we don't charge monthly fees, by the way. Again, not a pitch. My agents, if they're not making money, I'm not making money. So we have to make sure we are truly partners with our agents, right? And I got to make sure that we have a mutual vision so that we can go and make money together. Because if not, they're not going to make money, and then I'm exposed to them potentially putting me in a lawsuit or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think you really touched on something important. And what I mean by that is when you talked about kind of that discovery phase, when you're talking to an agent that might come over, what you have to offer, there might be like only one thing relevant to them that they really care about. You know, so we spend a lot of time as brokers talking about all the great things we have, and we all do, but what's it really going to do for that particular agent? And how, you know, what are they going to be able to utilize? What do they even have interest in? So understanding their business and what they may be lacking and how you can help them grow, that's really what agents, to answer your question, what agents, you know, what can you do for me? how can I help you grow? How can I help you do better with me than without
Absolutely.
me? That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
And I think we are also going to get to a point where it's more of a selection process rather than an interview process. When you realize, and if you're leading your team or your brokerage with your core values, you're going to know if the person across the table meets your core values. You know, if that person is just not in line, if it's all about me, what's my split, what's my this, you know, like when I sit with someone, the last thing we talk about is the split and the leads. Like they said, it's about what their journey is, where their goals are they in line, and it's more of a selection process. We get more people reach out to us than we actually say yes to, because not everyone's a fit for us. Not everyone's gonna be in line with
Right.
what we have in store for our mission. And when you get to that place, it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
David, can I share something?
Sure.
I think it's really important during that discovery process that you determine that the people you're bringing into your world's core values really important. Of course, we want to enhance their lives, but it's really hard to figure out, are they willing to do their part?
Yes.
Right? They want great lives and they want to build big businesses that fund the big lives. Helping them discover, right? It's really at the end of the day, it's on them. Right? We can provide leadership, environment, everything, but at the end of the day, you want to bring people into your world that own it.
Yes.
Like Matt, who was standing here, who says it's his job to hit those 100 sales.
Right.
Not what are you going to do for me all
Right.
day. And we miss that mark, and then we bring people into our world, they fail, and they think it's from us. They still are not looking at themselves.
So,
And one of the downsides of leadership or brokerage is you're always going to be blamed for their failures but never credited for their successes, right? We all know that. And you're right, because I think a lot of brokerages, even teams, will just pick up people for the sake of having headcount.
It's called body count.
Yeah, and you
call
can't-
body count.
Right. So, you know, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that the people you align with, you truly believe are going to succeed with you. I mean, that's absolutely a fact.
so I want to ask you guys one last question, and this is more advice to our audience is, what, you know, you're all strong leaders, and that's why you're up here. I respect each and every one of you in your position. And what's the biggest piece of advice that you would give to a solo agent right now looking to get into leadership, build a team, or open a brokerage for that matter?
Single agent, just starting out?
Yeah, just any agent out there that's considering, single agent considering building a team, or someone considering opening up an office. What's the
So-
biggest piece of advice you would give
So
them
there
from
are
a
two-
leadership perspective, right?
So for me, there are two things. First and foremost, day one, I knew my biggest customer were you guys, not the buyers and the sellers. Consumers are the consumer, right? But the agents, brokers, people in our industry, build those relationships, put the time in, and that will pay you for years to come. And bottom line, your database. Commit every day. How many people are you going to bring into your world? There's the difference between the success and not success. It's that easy.
Right. Alex.
My advice is if you want to open a brokerage or have a team, go big or go home.
Right.
We, at least in my case, we meet with way too many broker owners that, you know, think that, you know, they're giving too much to their broker. They go out, they open up their own brokerage, and then what they end up realizing is they spend more time managing their team and actually end up losing income. That's not the case with these guys, but they're the anomaly. They end up spending more time managing their team and losing out on their own income. So it's, in my opinion, if I meet with a broker, if they don't at least have 50 or 60 agents and upwards, in my case, I would say at least 100, and you don't at least want 100 agents under you, don't even bother, because you're gonna lose money. But again, these guys are the anomaly. They're the 0.001% of
Right.
the millions of realtors that are.
Veronica.
I mean, I would say follow your dreams, you know, go with your passion, and, you know, no one's gonna learn with someone else's mistakes. Fail forward. I know that it's not a glorified thing. It looks so glorified from the outside looking in. From E&O, do you pay your staff before you pay yourself? You know, there's so many things that go into this on the back end of things before you get big, before you get to that type of model. Or I'm a firm believer, like you said, go big or go home, or if I had to give you advice, I keep on saying it, go team-based brokerage. Listen to Lori, do it the way Lori did it, because in the middle, it's murky, it's muggy, it's not profitable. There's a reason they say the broker's the brokest person in the room. So, you know, like you can make a lot of money in real estate running a team and not being the broker, but if that's what you want, go for it. But just know that there's people who've lived before you, and you know, we're telling you the good, the bad, the ugly. And hopefully, you know, your dream works out.
When I went to go to school for my broker's license, the instructor actually stood in front of all of us and said, I have no idea why you guys are here, first of all. And he said, no one has ever come to the conclusion that there's one word in broker, it's broke. Remember what I said? Good luck on your test. Stan.
You know, for the last 25 minutes, I've been sitting up here while I've been sweating. I've been sitting on a Labrador, you know.
It's comfortable.
I don't know if it's a Labrador or German Shepherd. I don't know, but man, I'll burn it up.
Dale, you got 13 seconds.
Anyways, everybody has their dreams, you know. I always promote, you know, working within a group and being together as a group. If somebody feels that they can do something on their own, everybody should have the opportunity to do so. Now, big surprises, a lot of back end, a lot of things going on that you don't know, like you say, the overhead, the baggage, and sometimes don't get paid and paid out. I've been there and done that. So the only thing I could say is I'm blessed to have my team. I'm blessed to have my group. And David, thank you for inviting us and putting this thing together for all of us.
Thank you.
So I know we're running out of time, so I'll try to make this fast. I would say this. I started with 8 agents. Today we have 350 over 4 years' time. So what I learned in that first run was you have to commit. You have to commit. You have to be in it for the long haul. You have to be in it to win it, because it's going to be a while. It's going to be a minute before you make money in team or brokerage. You've got to ramp up. And during that period of ramping up, it's difficult. You feel like you're working 2 jobs. You feel like you have no time. You're questioning your choice. Why did I do this in the first place? You have to commit, and you got to begin with the end in mind. You have to know exactly what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go. And if you don't know the answer to that question, you probably shouldn't start it yet.
Right. Yeah, one more thing.
Dave, I'm going to give you the ugly side of the brokerage business for a minute, and I know we're over and everybody's hungry.
Yeah, we're over.
But this is actually for us, too. If you guys remember a few months ago, the Miami Association of Realtors and FAR was putting out a warning about Section 8 housing, and there was a guy going around suing for Section 8 discrimination and all that. Well, for us that are using mass text messaging programs, the new flavor of the week is they are now going after you for violating the Telephone Consumer Act.
TCPA?
TCPA.
I'll show you my lawsuit.
I'll show you my lawsuit. we got served last week. So if you are sending out mass text messages, make sure the people that you're sending your text messages to have agreed to receive the text message, because if not, you end up in the same boat as Kai's, Kurz, Cal, everybody. So that's the ugly side of the brokerage business that we have to deal with. You're getting sued too?
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. All right, so
let's talk. Let's partner up.
Let's partner up.
Hire the same.
So I would like to give my piece as well. Obviously, a lot of you know, this August 3rd, we celebrated our 2-year anniversary as a brokerage, and for us, it was like he said, being extremely committed to what it is that you want to do. Like Alex said, go big or go home. We signed a 6,000 square foot lease with 5 agents. And I remember my wife looking at me going, you're insane. My business partner, by the way, who didn't become my business partner until a year in, was our first hire, right? He was next door, and he came over. He said, what are you guys building here? I said, we're going to open a real estate company. He goes, cool, I'll put my license with you. And that's kind of how that went down. By the way, my wife's a realtor too. We'll put hers in here too, you know? And I would say, if you're going to do it, build a team or open a brokerage. Commit to it, put your head down. People will talk about you. They're gonna say that you're gonna fail. They're gonna try to push you down as quickly as they could. You need to keep your head straight, down, and towards your goals. If you can do that, you will grow, undoubtedly. And you will make money, undoubtedly, in time. It won't happen right away. And as long as you know that, and you're aware of that, and you're aware of what you're doing, and you have an actual plan, you will succeed. All right, guys? So I want to first of all give these guys a round of applause for coming up here. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to this amazing panel. And this morning, I believe that lunch is served.